Continuity Management System, ISO 22301 2019 standard. From the name Business Continuity Management System means that as an organization, we need to be able to always continue business during disruption. So the purpose of Business Continuity Management System is to put in place a plan that will show us a response plan to disruption. So when there is any risk, any disruption, how we can continue our business. Business continuity management system is not only for disruption, it's also for normal risk that may cause little delay in business. For example, internet interruption. It take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, how we can recover quickly and go back to normal. In a bank, for example, the server is not working, how quickly the server can be back to normal. These are risks that will be in place, and these are incidents that are not to the level of disruption. But we also need to have a system for disruption. So the standard ISO 22301 is developed by the organization ISO. ISO, an international organization for developing international standards and made out of national standard bodies. And they have developed over 22,000 standards since they have been in place since 1947. The standards that are in the family of ISO 22301, which is the family of the Business Continuity Management System, are 22300, which is the vocabulary, 22301, which is the requirements that you need to put in place, and you have guidance, 22313, that will give you a guidance on how to implement 22301. Then we also use 19011, a guideline for auditing. You have also 9001. They have 27005, information technology security techniques, information security risk management. You have ISO Guide 73, risk management vocabulary, ISO 31000, risk management guidelines, because when you are implementing ISO 22301, you will need to do risk assessment, and you have to have a risk management system in place, and the standard related to risk management is ISO 31000 2018. And then you have ISO or IEC 31010, which is the risk assessment techniques based on ISO directive. So these are many standards related to the ISO 22301 business continuity management system. The business continuity management system initially started long time ago, before the 80s and 90s, but mainly in the 80s and 90s through two organizations, the Disaster Recovery Institute and the Business Continuity Institute, DRI and BCI. So these two institutes worked closely with ISO and helped in developing the standard. The first time the ISO 22301 was developed was in 2012, and then it was revised later on in 2019. So the version we are working with now is the 2019. The standard is based on all management system standard developed by ISO organization on a PDCA cycle, Plan, Do, Check, Act, or some people, they call it PDSA, Plan, Do, Study, Act. So, okay, whatsoever you call it, but in the ISO, they call it PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle. So if you implement ISO 22301, you can be certified against this standard if you want to show the external world that you are certified, or you can do a self-declaration that you have developed and implemented and maintained a management system based on ISO 22301, a business continuity management system. Some acronyms that are used in the standard: BC, business continuity; BCM, business continuity management; BCMS, business continuity management system; BCP, business continuity plan; BIA, business impact analysis; ISO, International Organization for Standardization; MTPD, maximum tolerable period of disruption; PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act; SMG, our organization, Sustainable Management Group; and RTO, Recovery Time Objective. And you have also probably RPO, Recovery Point Objective, and you might have MBCO, Business Continuity, BCMO, Business Continuity Management Objective. So few acronyms are used in the standard of 22301. The purpose The standard ISO 22301, come on, has a scope like any other standard in ISO management system standards based on 10 clauses. We have a chat here, people saying, yes, yes, okay, good. So all management system standards now developed by ISO would have the same structure based on an annex called Annex SL. Uh, so that annex is stating and dictating, not only stating, dictating on all management system standard, one structures on 10 clauses, 1 to 10. 1 being the scope, 2 being the normative reference, 3 being the terms of reference, and 4 context of the organization, 5 leadership, 6 planning, 7 support, 8 operation, 9 performance evaluation, and 10 continuous improvement or non-conformity corrective action improvement. So one of the very important part of any standard is the scope of the standard, means what is the purpose of that standard, why this standard is in place, what does it cover, all right? So in 22301, they say this document, this standard 22301 specifies requirements to implement, maintain, and improve a management system to protect against, reduce the likelihood of the occurrence of, prepare for, respond to, and recover from disruptions when they arise. So basically, the scope is to develop, implement, and maintain an improvement management system to do what? To protect against the likelihood of the occurrence and the prepare for, respond to, and recover from disruptions. So we put a business continuity management system in place to make sure that we are ready to deal with disruptions when they happen, when they arise. Okay, so it means we need to know what type of disruptions we might have. Like for today, we have a disruption, big disruption with COVID-19. We are all closed, lockdown, and we are not working. Most of us are working from home. Few people are working outside, but we are all in a disruption. How we can continue with this disruption, what we shall do to continue our business. So the document is applicable to all type of organizations and size of organization to implement, maintain, and improve a business continuity management system, seek to ensure conformity with stated business continuity policy. So when we put a business continuity management system in place, we need to have a business continuity policy. So need to be able to continue to deliver product and services at acceptable predefined capacity during a disruption. So here is an interesting topic. Be able to continue to deliver products and services. So it means we have product and services that we are delivering to our customers. So we have to be able to continue delivering at an acceptable predefined capacity during a disruption. So what is the acceptable level of production, of productivity that we need to put in place in our organization to be able to continue delivering product and services to our organizations if we have to continue the business. Need to be able to continue to deliver product and service. So that's very important because we need to know what product and services that we have to deliver and at what level during a disruption, depending on what service and what product we sell. If we are in the food business, during a disruption is very important. If we are in a health organization, health service provider, that's very important during a disruption. So depending what we are offering the customer, we need to put this. So that's very important. So this is the 22313, as I said, it gives guidance on how to implement 22301. So an organization can be certified to 22301, but cannot be certified to 22313 because it's a guidance document, not a requirement document. So what are the basics of business continuity? Business continuity basics. Business continuity is the capability of the organization to continue delivery of products and services at acceptable predefined capacities following a disruption. So that's very important. That's what very important basic of business continuity, to be able to continue delivering product and services after or during a disruption. Business continuity management is the process of implementing and maintaining business continuity in order to prevent loss and prepare for, mitigate, and manage disruptions. So when there's disruption, how we can prevent losses and how we can mitigate those losses. Establishing a business continuity management system enables us to control, evaluate, and continue to improve its business continuity. So through business continuity management system, we can continue our business. Disruptions have the potential to interrupt the organization's entire operations and its ability to deliver product and service. So disruption can be complete disruption, that you cannot do anything. However, implementing a business continuity management system before a disruption occurs, rather than responding in unplanned manner after the incident, will enable the organization to resume operations before unacceptable levels of impact arise. So business continuity management system is a prevention action to deal with disruption, is a prediction also to a disruption. So we predict a disruption that might happen, okay, and we put a plan, a response to that disruption so we can continue operating rather than waiting for the disruption to happen, okay, and never be able to do anything. Some disruptions can easily be listed, okay, we can list many disruptions in our business, okay. Some others may not be able to be listed easily. COVID-19, for example, maybe not too many organizations were having a business continuity plan to deal with pandemics. Some organizations might have had one business continuity plan to deal with pandemics. Not every organization probably was prepared for that. So when we make a list of disruptions, we need to go as far as possible with the disruptions that might be in place. So the business continuity management involves identifying the organization's products and services and the activities that deliver them. So what product and what services we are delivering to our customers. And here in the standard, they use the word activities that deliver them. You can replace the word activities by the word processes. So we can say what products and services we are delivering to our customer and what are the processes we are using to deliver them. So in the standard, they call it activities. We can easily make it process. Analyzing the impacts of non-resuming the activities and the resources they depend on. So if we cannot resume our processes, we cannot reoperate, reactivate our process or activity, and if we don't have resources for that, okay, what we shall do? So now we need to say if there is a disruption, what process will not operate, at what level it will not operate, and what resources do I need for that to operate? And that's very important to determine the resources needed. Understanding the risk of disruption. What is the risk that disruption will cause us? What impacts on our business that disruption will have? Determining priorities. When we list our products and services and we will list potential disruptions, then we put priorities. If we are selling 10 products or 10 services, which one is priority to our customer? Which one is priority to our business to survive? Which process is priority to continue to operate? Which process we can stop? Which product we can stop? So that's very important. Once we list our product and services, once we list our processes, then we put priorities, then we select strategies and solutions for those priorities. What strategies we will put in place, what solution we put in place, so those priorities can be put in place and can be resumed, deliver the product and services that we need to deliver. Having solutions, so strategies and solutions mean also having continuity business plan in place to resume the activities within the required time frame following a disruption. So that's very important to have that. So business continuity can be effective in dealing with both sudden disruptions like explosions and gradual ones like pandemics. So we need to be able to look at those. So the benefits of business continuity management system are very clear, I guess. Supporting the strategic objective of the organization, creating a competitive advantage, protecting, enhancing its reputation and credibility, contributing to organizational resilience. So those are the benefits that we can have by setting business continuity management system. Financial point of view, we can reduce legal and financial exposure. We reduce direct and indirect costs of disruption. From the interested parties, we can protect life, property, and environment. We can consider the expectation of interested parties. We can provide confidence in our organization that we can continue through a disruption. From an internal process perspective, improving our capacity to remain effective during disruptions, demonstrating proactive control of risk effectively and efficiently, addressing operational vulnerabilities. So these are the benefits that we can have. Basically, We are telling ourselves that if we put in place a business continuity management system, our business will be able to recover. We can reduce cost. We can have trust with our interested parties can have trust with us, and we can save life, mainly our employees, because we don't want to put our employees and our customers or neighbors into risk when we have any disruptions. Some issues that people may look at when we look at business continuity management system, it's all about natural disaster. Someone would say it's all about natural disaster. This is not correct. Disruption could be a natural disaster. Disruption could be anything else. Could be a strike, could be a war, could be a financial crisis, could be a pandemic. Okay, pandemic could be natural disaster too, but who knows? Anyhow, so the other issue that people might say, we have a plan, so we are ready. No, we may have a plan. Have we tested that plan? Is this plan going to work? Is the plan known to by everyone? Do we know how to implement this plan? Have we tried it before, exercised it before? Have we simulated disruptions and tried our plan? So we need to make sure that the plan is going to work. We have tested our plan, so we are all set. Okay, we have tested one plan. What's the result of the test? Is it working? What if after testing the plan, something else happened? What if some of our employees that we have tested the plan with, they left the organization? We have new employees. So testing is supposed to be regular. We cannot just test it one time and we say, oh, it's good. The IT department is responsible for developing and exercising the business continuity plan. Well, IT will play a big role in business continuity management system, but they don't do everything. So IT is there to respond with information they have. If they don't have the information, they cannot help. So we need to help them. If there's no management system in place to show them how to deal with information, with data, that will not be operational for them. And they are not the only one that will be responsible for business continuity. It's the business continuity is the responsibility of everyone in the organization from top management down. A business continuity plan is not necessary because your staff will always be there and you can count on them to do the right thing. Well, this is very wrong because you never know that that the staff will be there. What if staff cannot go inside the building? What if staff cannot go to work? What if staff will not be able to work? What if the disruption will impact on the staff themselves and their health? So that's not good. So we need to have a plan for every type of disruption and showing how this plan will work. Business continuity plans and disaster recovery plans are the same thing. That's not correct. Disaster recovery plan is what we will do to recover after the disruption. Business continuity plan is what we do during disruption, before the disruption. So they complement each other, they work together, but they are not the same. One disaster recovery plan meets all scenario requirements. That's again not correct. Every scenario has a different need for a disaster recovery plan, and every scenario will need a different business continuity plan. So one plan is not enough. Longer distance means better disaster protection, or longer distance means we are far from the disruption, but it's not necessarily correct. IT and business users have the same interest in business continuity. That's not correct too. IT interest is something, top management interest is something else, employees interest is something else. So we cannot say this is correct. So we have a lot of assumptions that people are putting in place, but these are not necessarily correct. Anyone has any question until now? I see there's a chat here. Let me see, what is this? Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay. So the business principle and concept of business continuity management system, our business continuity, we discuss a business continuity plan, business impact analysis, prioritize activities, disruption, and business continuity principle. So business continuity is defined in other terms, the process of analyzing and defining the critical business functions in an organization when facing a disruption or disaster that prevents the normal operation of the business. So the purpose of business continuity is to have a process in place that will analyze what critical function in our organization that will not be able to work during a disaster or a disruption, and what we need to do to resume operation. The business continuity plan is a result on output of the strategies and solutions that will be put in place. It will list the critical function and processes of the organizations. It will list the critical product and service of the organization, and it will have the priorities that we need to put in place, and it will show what resources we need to be able to implement the plan, and resources in terms of people, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of money, in terms of relation and communication, and all these things, what we will do with this. Business impact analysis is when we have a disruption, what is the impact on our business of that disruption? So business impact analysis is different from risk assessment in the sense of it's only related to disruptions. So if there is a disruption, what is the impact on our business of that disruption? Okay, and what would be our recovery time objective to resume business? Prioritize activities. Okay, what are the activities that are priorities during disruptions? What are the critical processes? What are the dependency? What thing depend on what thing? So HR will depend on purchasing, will depend on sales. Who depends on what? And then we make a workflow impact for during the disruption. And what is the impact if we don't have a process operating? So the disruption is something that will stop us from operating normally at certain level, 10%, 20%, 30%, okay? So we need to have a plan to deal with the disruptions. So the principles: top management commitment and responsibilities, major operational disruptions, and communication and testing. So top management responsibility. The organization's top management is ultimately responsible and accountable for the efficiency of the business continuity management system. Because if they are not in place to be accountable, if they are not committed, it will not work. Business continuity policies and procedures shall be practical, accessible, and effectively implemented. And this is the job of top management, to ensure that they are in place and they are practical, accessible, and effectively implemented. A well-established business continuity management system addresses the human factor alongside technical aspect. We need to ensure that human factor is taken into consideration, because people will have to be competent in dealing with the business disruptions, and human factors, what is their opinion on that, and how they look about it, and how they care about it. And people's health is important, and physical safety is important also, and this is top management responsibility to take care of that. Major operations disruptions. The business continuity management system should address how the organization will react to major disruptions that affect the organization activity for which are responsible. So what are the major disruptions, and what are the priorities? Major operational disruptions pose a significant risk to the continuity of the organization operations. So when we know the disruptions and we know the operational disruption, we can put a business continuity plan in place to respond to this disruptions. All organizations should incorporate the risk of a major operational disruption in their business continuity plans. So we know the disruptions to put in the plan. Top management will play a major role in monitoring the state of the organization. Communication is a very important part of business continuity plan and principles, and business continuity management system principles, because we identify persons responsible for internal and external communication. Who is going to communicate with customers, with suppliers, with employees during a disruption? If this person or this function is not already identified, then we don't know how to continue our business. Our customers might be, they don't know what to do. They need to talk to us. They need to call us. If there is a disruption, do they call the same number? Do they call the same people? How they communicate with us? I have seen some organizations, they have put in their website for COVID-19, for example, a small icon on their website called COVID-19, and you click on it, and then it comes and it tells you with whom to talk, with whom to communicate for any question, as a customer, as a supplier, as any interested party, as an employee. So you can go to the website. So this has to be put in place, and we need to tell people about it so they know how to communicate with us, and address relevant issues that may emerge during a major operations disruption. So what could be the question of customers? What could be the question of suppliers? What could be the questions of employees? what shall we do now? Okay, this has to be communicated to people. So communication plan is part of your business continuity plan that will address this issue. The other principle is testing. Once you put the business continuity plan in place, you need to test that plan and make sure that this plan is going to work. Because if you do not test it, then you will never know this is workable or not. So an organization business continuity management system should be tested, evaluated for its effectiveness, and if and where needed, updated. One of the main components of an effective business continuity management is the testing, the ability to recover quickly. How often do we test? What checklist we use? Okay, it depends on the business continuity plan and how and its complexity. Testing should be conducted on a regular basis, with the scope and frequency being dictated by the criticality of the organization operation. So the more critical the operation of the organization, the more disruptions we might have, the more testing we need to have in place, and depend on the business continuity plan you have in place. So business continuity management system, section 4, definition of management system standards, definition of business continuity management system, we already talked about that. So that's from clause 4 to clause 10 that we have. We already defined that. The standard, as I said, has 10 clauses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4 is the context of the organization, 5 leadership, 6 planning, 7 support, 8 operation, 9 performance evaluation, and 10 improvement. Clause number 4, context of the organization. This is very important to know our internal and external context in the organization. What are the external issues and what are the internal issues or factors that can affect the achievement of our intended outcome of the business continuity management system? Do we have a business continuity plan? Do we have a business continuity policy? Have we listed all our disruptions, potential disruptions? What are the legal requirements externally? What is the political situation? What's the economical situation? What technology we can use? Okay, all these are kind of context of the organization. Internally, the easiest way to do the context of the organization is to make a gap assessment between what we have in place as an organization versus what is required by the business continuity management system standard ISO 22301. We can make a gap assessment and see what element of ISO 22301 we have and what element we don't have, and this would be our internal context. And then externally, we can do a pastel analysis, like political, technological, legal, economical, environmental, and societal analysis on business continuity management system issues related to our business. 4.2, understanding the needs and expectations of interested parties. In business continuity management system, we have product and services and activity processes that we are working on. So who are the interested parties? Our clients, our suppliers, government, insurance companies, employees, okay? And what do they need, all right? And how we can work with them, and how we can put their consideration in place, take it, their needs and expectations, how we take it into consideration, and put it in our business continuity plan, in our business continuity management system, so when there's a disruption, we can deal with those. Determining the scope, 4.3, where the business continuity management system will be implemented. What are the boundaries of the system? Is it only IT? Is it finance? Is it all products? Is it all services? Is it part of product, part of services? You have to determine where the system will be implemented. Business continuity management system processes, 4.4, like any other system, we need processes to be able to manage the system. Section 5, leadership. As we said, one of the principles is top management need to be committed, and part of commitment of top management is to provide, to establish a policy, to have objectives, to train people on business continuity management system, to make sure that people are competent on business continuity management system, and to provide resources needed for the business continuity management system, and communicate to everyone the importance of an effective business continuity management system. We need to have a business continuity management policy. Top management shall create the policy, and the policy will have commitment to dealing with all disruptions, commitment to meet the requirement of the standard, commitment to meet the requirement of the legal and other requirements, commitment to improvement, and commitment to recovery. Roles, responsibilities, and authorities. Here is very important issue to look at. Here we're not talking about roles, responsibilities, and authorities of the people doing their day-to-day operation. We are talking about roles, responsibilities, authorities related to the business continuity management system. Who is the manager of the function to manage the business continuity management system, to take care of the business continuity management system? Who will do the communication there's disruption? Who will deal with the disruption? Who will implement the business continuity plan? Who will do the testing and exercising? Who will set the strategy and solution? So this is not related to day-to-day operation we do in our business to deliver the product and service to our organization. This is the role, responsibility, authority of those that will be doing the work related to business continuity system. Who will do the risk assessment? Who will do the business impact analysis? Who will set the strategies and solution? Who will provide the resources? So this is different role, responsibility, authorities related to business continuity management system, who will be in control during a disruption. So you have to be careful when we do that. Some organizations, they might have job descriptions. Some organizations, they might have process, procedures, they put responsibilities in it. So you have to be careful. If you put a job description, for example, in place, and then you have a long list of things that an employee must do, and you put at the end of it and other activities related to business continuity management system, that would not be acceptable because you have to list it clearly what are those other activities. So probably a responsibility matrix in the organization could be something important to have in place related to the disruption phases. So before disruption, during disruption, after disruption, during recovery, who will do what and who will and how, that's very important to have in place. So there will be a matrix. And who would replace who if there is someone who is not in place. So that's very important. Like some employees may not be able to go to work. So who will replace that employee? So that's very important to have. Section 6, actions to address risk and opportunity. Based on the context of the organizations, based on the internal issues, external issues, we can have some risk that we need to address. And then we have to put objectives and to put plans to achieve those objectives. Objectives by themselves will not work. To have a plan for the objectives. Section 7, we need resources. We were just talking about roles and responsibilities and authorities, and resources is very important part of business continuity system. Now the resources needed could be human resources, people, infrastructure, money, technology, okay, and environment. All these things are needed, but these are geared toward business continuity management system. For example, in resources, if there's a disruption and you have an employee who is competent in doing an activity or a process, and he is the only one that can do that, and this is a priority during a disruption to be done, what will happen to you if that resource is not available? So I have a product or service that I need to deliver to my customer, and I have determined in my business continuity plan that this is a priority. And that priority is done by one person who is competent in certain technical aspect of the product. And he's the only one who knows that. And there's disruption. And he cannot get to the job, or he cannot use technology for any reason. What I will do. So when we talk about resources, it's resources related to the result of risk assessment and related to the result of the business impact analysis. So based on your business impact analysis, based on your risk assessment and the controls you're going to put in place, based on your disaster recovery plan, based on your business continuity plan, you're going to determine what resources will be needed during disruption. Resources needed to continue the business, to have a business continuity. We're not talking about the normal resources that we have usually in place when we do our normal operation. So we're talking about the resources needed to resume operation, to recover, to work during disruption. That's very important to understand the resources here. Competence, again, the same thing. Competence related to dealing with the disruption. Competence related to working during disruption. Some people may be able to work during normal operation. Others cannot work during other operation. So they don't know how to deal to work during disruption. So they are competent when everything is normal, but they are not competent when there is a problem. So we need to put competence related to disruptions and make sure that people will be competent to deal with the disruption and do it. Awareness about business continuity management system, processes, policies, protocols, business continuity plan, disaster recovery plan, and testing, exercising, strategies, solutions. All these things need to be made aware to the people and telling them what's the role in that and what are the consequences of not understanding that. Communication, we already mentioned communication earlier, internal communication, external communication. Who will do the internal communication, external communication during a disruption so we can continue our operation? Documentation, what documentation we need to put in place and how we control them and how we make them available to people to use and how we change them like any other management system standard. The clause number 8, operation. So in the operation, we have operation planning and control, business impact analysis and risk assessment, business continuity strategy and solutions, business continuity plans and procedures. So, and you would have also exercise programs and evaluation of business continuity and capabilities. So operation planning and control, what processes we need to implement our business continuity management system. We need to list those processes and plan those processes and put process criteria for them. What outsourced processes I might need during disruption, then I list those outsourced processes. Business impact analysis, as I said earlier, we do a business impact analysis on disruptions. If there is a disruption, what will be the impact on our business? Do analysis, and then how are we going to recover? Risk assessment is the normal risk assessment on any incident. So some people, they can start with a risk assessment, and in their risk assessment, they will put all potential risks, including disruptions, and they will consider disruption or crisis, okay, or emergency as a special risk, as a special type of risk. So we do a risk assessment, we include in it everything based on likelihood, based on consequences, okay, and we have risk criteria, and we do have a risk identification system, identify the risk, analyze the risk, and evaluate the risk and risk treatment, all these things. And then this is all normal. We add to it the disruptions part of the risks, and then this will be dealt with in business impact analysis. So for normal risk, I mean risk incident that will not have a disruption, we have our risk control, risk treatment, and then for the business impact analysis, we can use the same risk assessment methodology, but during disruption and what are the impacts of that disruption on our business and what business continuity plan we'll put in place. So once we know the impact on our business based on any disruption that we have listed, we will put a strategy. What is the strategy and solution that we'll put in place to resume and to continue operation? We have continue and recovery. So for example, if there is any disruption, what we will do, work from home, that's a strategy. We have a mirror office. We have an agreement with another company. They do business with us, business like us, and we can cooperate with them. If we have a disruption, we operate from their places. If they have a disruption, they operate from our place. We have a hot site, like similar site, exact site like our site. We might have branches. We operate from a branch to cover another branch. Okay, and COVID-19, for example, many of those strategies may not work because the COVID-19 is everywhere. So in normal situation, if you have a disruption, you can say, I have two sites, I use the other site. But the other site now is also closed because of COVID-19. It could be another city in another country, all right? So you need to put a strategy for that. What is the strategy? If you want to work from home, for example, how you work from home, using what technology, can people use the technology? Is the technology capable of making me work from home? It depends on what we do. For example, in our business, we can work from home. But if you are in the transportation business, for example, you cannot work from home. You have to do transportation. So how you do transportation? What is your strategy? Okay. So in transportation business, for example, during COVID-19, strategy would be people. How we have enough people to be able to drive the truck or drive the car or whatsoever, and they are not infected by the coronavirus. So we need to put a strategy. Of course, some people may have no strategy, and that's not costly at all. You don't pay any money if you don't have a strategy, but it will be very costly when you have a disruption. So some strategy is very expensive, but it's way less expensive if you have a disruption. Based on the strategy and the solution you select, you can do your business continuity plan and procedure, like any other plan, what to do, when to do it, who will do it, what resources needed, and how you monitor that, and how you make sure it's working. So then you do the exercising, you plan exercising and testing of your business continuity strategy and solutions, and of your business continuity plan. And then after you test and exercise, you can evaluate your business continuity system and capabilities in terms of legal requirement, in terms of resources, in terms of strategies and plan and procedures. Here's an example of business impact analysis. Very simple example. We said earlier that usually we need to identify critical activities and critical product and service that we will deliver. So here the product and service is an asset. So what is the critical product and service we need? Critical asset is the heart. What critical process is pumping blood? If we don't have a business continuity, so we are operating normally here at -1, 100% normal operation, we have a disruption, cardiac arrest. That's a very big disruption and is a crisis. So in 1 minute, the brain cells begin to die, but survival is possible. In 3 minutes, serious brain damage likely. In 10 minutes, brain cells have died, recovery likely. So this is the maximum tolerable period of disruption. It's 10 or 15 minutes. And after that, you cannot continue. So recovery is virtually impossible. So if you don't have a business continuity plan, then you cannot do anything. Recovery is not possible. If we have a business continuity plan, so it means we know what to do if there is a disruption. So there is a cardiac arrest, a disruption. We call 999 or we call 911 or we call one. It depends which country you are. In Canada, 911, other country 999, and other country 112. So it depends. So you know where you are in which country, then you put your number accordingly. All right. So you call the emergency situation. Okay. They can come quickly. Okay. Then they do, or you and you train people in your organization to do CPR. Okay, so your recovery time objective is less than 1 minute. So the CPR must be done in less than 1 minute. Your management business continuity objective is 40% of normal. So the blood, pumping blood in the heart, if it is at 40% of normal, then you can still survive. And then in 3 minutes, probably you have the rescue team can come and use a defibrillator on the patient, on the person having the cardiac arrest, and then this could be helping to get to the hospital. Ambulance will arrive in 8-10 minutes, and then recovery is possible. So internally, you have some work to do. You have a CPR, you have a defibrillator, you are ready with that, and then you call the emergency in the ambulance. They will come and take you to the hospital. There is a potential possibility of recovery. If you don't have a business continuity plan, recovery will not be possible. So the Section 9 performance evaluation, we monitor, measure, analyze our business continuity management system, and we do internal audit, and we do management review like any other management system. And then clause 10, we have to control non-conformities and take corrective action and do continual improvement. Okay, so any question? This is a very quick summary of the standard in about 40 minutes, 42 minutes actually. So leaving for us about 10 minutes for you or 15 minutes to ask questions if you want to ask questions. I'll give you 1 minute. I'll mute my.
Okay, thank you. So if anyone has any question, please feel free to ask and we will answer you. Also, I will put, oh no, okay, you can go ahead if you have any questions. Okay. So just to let you know, we are also offering full day online training about ISO 22301. These are paid courses, but at a discounted fees. So we can also share that with you if you're interested. Okay.
Any question you said? Can you repeat if any question?
Yeah, there are questions. Okay.
How much time does it take to establish an ISO 22301 versus 9001? Well, it depends on the organization and the size of the organization and how big is the organization. But usually it would take between 6 months to 1 year, but depends on how big is the organization.
Okay. Okay, thanks, John, for the question. Another question from Mohamad. He said he joined at section 3. Can you give a quick recap on sections 1 and 2?
Well, you were at section 3, you started at what was the section 3?
I think probably the normative references or something.
You mean section 3 from the standard or section 3 from the presentation? Mohammed.
Presentation. Section 3 from the presentation.
Yeah, but what we covered in section 1 and 2 is the basics of business continuity management system. We said it's basically a system to predict disruption and have a response to it. Okay, so that's basically what we talked about, and the benefits and the standards related to it. Section 1 was about the standards, ISO 22301 and ISO 22300 as the vocabulary, and ISO 22313 was the guidance to implement ISO 22301. Okay.
Okay, there's a question from Maya. She said she's a financial analyst and quality coordinator at TA Group. And her question is, shall we implement ISO 22301 as part of ISO 9001 or separate?
No, 22301 is a separate from 9001, but they can be integrated because basically they have the same structure, okay, but they are not the same. You can integrate the two standards together, but they are not the same standard. 9001 deals with quality issues, and it will help implementing 22301 because when you do 9001 2015, you already have all your processes, you already know all your product and services. So this is a starting point for you to know what products I have, what services I have, what processes I have, and then you go to 22301. So it's not part of it, but you can integrate the two standards together.
Another question from John is ISO 22301, can it be done remotely or does it need to be done on site only?
The audit?
Yes.
No, it depends on the business again. If we are talking, for example, about an organization that has, let's say, a cloud service organization, you can do it remotely. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. As long as the remote audit will be able to show us, for example, any recovery site, any recovery server or whatsoever, it can be done. But it depends on the business again.
Is he saying
yes,
consulting? How about consulting? Could it be done remotely?
Yeah, you can do consulting remotely, of course. Is PowerPoint shareable? Yeah, we will share PowerPoint with you, no problem. Okay. Any other questions?
Any other questions? We will share the presentation. I sent on the chat box to please, if you can also send us an email to our training email, which I listed here, to request it because we did not get all your emails, just in case. Okay, there's another question from Maya. She's saying they are already certified 9001, so they just need to implement 22301 to be integrated?
Yeah, if you are certified 9001, you can implement 22301 and be certified against it, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Any more questions? Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, you're welcome. Okay, it seems there are no more questions anymore.
If you have no more questions, thank you very much and hope to see you in another flight, another session. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. انت stay with them اللي تلاقوا كله.
uh,
انا اولي.
yeah, okay. Okay, thank you, everyone. We'll end the session now, all right? Have a great day or evening and take care. Stay safe.